So Anthony, I haven't read your email other than I saw that it came in and that you were on your way and that you had an attachment. And so I'm looking forward to hearing what you have to share with us. But let's start with checking in and see who has things to share. And we have a few things that we can go and collect from other people that we thought we could also share. Few people have said that they didn't get finished and won't be here today, but they are working on their touchstones or their operating manuals. So who wants to check in first?
So I did work on a touchstone. I did finish it, but like it is still like a work in progress.
Absolutely. They always are.
And it's the first
work in
time
progress.
It's the first time I've done one, and I thought to myself, like, why haven't I done this yet? And it took me a lot of hours to try and finish it.
Well, good.
That's
But from my experience with our students, when they presented, even when they didn't feel like it was done, they got some very helpful feedback, and it helped along the way. So I hope you'll be willing to share some of what you've done.
Yes, no, of course. That's why I'm here today.
Excellent.
Awesome. Well, we'll check in then and we'll be back to you. And who wants to check in next?
Gail, you had your yes, unmuted. Yes. So I assumed you wanted to. Yeah.
Yeah. In terms of the touchstone, I had this very surprising reaction. I froze. I was sort of reluctant to declare my values for some reason, because I found this disconnect between the values I want to have versus some of the values that I live by. And this disconnect sort of perplexed me, and I neglected it. I didn't go back to it. So any encouragement would be very much appreciated.
I want to talk more about that. We'll check in and come back. Anthony?
Hi. Well, first to say I love this journey, and I'm living off the replays because I'm finishing the semester. Tomorrow is my last class, but I've been following everything. And although I would like to have been live in all these sessions, but the touchstone was interesting. For the value session, I used a Clifton Strengths Gallup test that I had already taken, and that I understand that express my values properly. So I used some of it for this session, and I drafted something brief and concise because I just wanted to go straight to the point. And I'm happy with what I have put in here, and it is, as you said in the guiding material, it is an ongoing and transforming thing because every experience changes us, and then we need to reflect this. But I'm happy. I believe it is a good starting point for building the future.
Excellent.
Thank you.
What
Carrie,
was the test you took?
It is a test named, yes, it is a test from Gallup. It is named Clifton Strengths Gallup Test. It has 34 teams, 34 subjects, because this man, Don Gallup, he has conducted research, I don't know if over 80 years or something like this, with top talented people to find out which talents they had. So he briefly organized those values in 34 subjects, and we are able to go under an assessment that is lifelong. It is said that your values only change for matters of this assessment if you undergo a really changing experience in your life. I don't know, a death, having a child or something like this, but it's the 10 to 12 first in the results are the guiding values that will follow you throughout your life. It is really informative. It is no bullshit. Sorry if bullshit is cursing in English. I hope it's not. But it is really science-backed, and it is really informative. I was so shocked when I took this assessment for the first time that I told the instructor that it was like they had a Xerox, a copy of my life and my values in form of the test, because it is really exact, and I believe it helps to express coherently and completely the values. So this is why I grabbed this information from Clifton Strengths.
Thanks. I think it is one I've heard. I don't think I've done, I know I haven't done that one, but I've heard of it, but I wanted to make sure I heard you correctly, but thank you for that. So Kim, back to you.
So I want to just respond to Yale, and then we'll have the others show us. And we've lost Julia. So this is not for sissies. Because we live our lives without this compass, and so, like, for example, my former husband had comfort as one of his values, and it actually it helped to distinguish why we were not a good match, because comfort is sort of the, that little thing about your comfort zone. Like, I am not a person who seeks out the comfort zone. I'm in those outer rings of, let me see what I can do to test my comfort zone. And my Facebook friends know, I'm always taking on projects. This summer, I'm learning to swim at 65 years old, right? Like that is not a comfortable thing to take on, but always, kind of stretching myself, and to have a husband who was, committed to comfort, and, it was not a good match, but it would be easy to just adapt to each other, and to say, well, like, there's something. I mean, like, who can argue with comfort? I mean, we all want to be comfortable, right? Well, no, but it's like a popular value. And so when you start looking at your values and you think, oh, I really actually value that, but I've been shaped by the people around me to value that, and I've been living my life about that, it actually does create some dissonance. And that dissonance gives you some choices. Because
and also vice versa. I mean, I'm inspired by other people's values, and I'm thinking, how can I live by them? It's so far from my everyday. Even something simple like sustainability. I so want to live like an environmentally conscious life, and I recycle. That's all I do.
Just have the groceries delivered. Don't go to the farmer's market. I'm with you, the first time I did this work, I did it like on a vision board of the things that were important to me. And I had too many things to put on the board. Welcome back, Julia. And so when I had to leave some things off, and the things I left off were things I thought I should be interested in. I should be. And so it was quite a struggle. But yeah, once you actually identify your values and start living by them, you will find your life. To me, there's a magical quality to it. Like the things that you want to show up, because you're on that path. The mystery of that. So thank you for sharing that. So we have a chance to look at that. Julia, are you back?
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Sorry, I forgot to plug my laptop in, so I'm using my cell phone now.
Okay. Do you want to tell us about what you created? Since you dropped off, I don't want you to drop off again and miss the opportunity. Yeah. So that's why I'm picking on you.
No, it's all good. So I created. I wish I could actually show you, but maybe I'll just email it later. I created like, so in the center, I have a picture of myself as like a reminder, and then around it, I have pictures of, things that I value, my mission, and then obviously my purpose. So under values, I have a picture of holding hands so that I can always remember that my biggest value in my life is to be kind, to be compassionate, and to show the people those values that I have. And then if I'm not, I actually just want to bring it up on my side so that I remember everything. So you just give me 1 second.
But electronically, where you could share screen, or?
She's on her phone now.
Okay.
I don't know if I can share. Let me see. Wait, there we go. It's letting me share a photo. Let's see if I can share.
It's okay if you can. I just wanted to make sure you knew that we did set this up. Yeah. So if you had it. Oops.
There, can you see it?
Oh, nice.
Well, can you guys see it?
Yes.
Yeah, we can see it. The
I love it.
Also conjures up some other things for me. It's kindness and connectedness, and I don't know if those are there for you, but the image is nice for that.
Oh, thank you. And then obviously my value, another value that I added there was that I need to continuously be learning. No matter how old I get, no matter where I get in my life, I always want to remember that I need to continue learning. And then I put a quote there that says, strive not to be a success, but rather to be of value. And that meant a lot to me. It's not about being the best lawyer for me. For me, it's about being just being valuable to those who need my help, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm. Totally.
And then, and then my mission is to thrive in life, but to thrive in the sense of to always remember who I am and not to shift from that, because I felt like, being in law school, it really did shift me from what my mission originally was. And I just never want to forget that. So, to always keep growing and to just be your true self. I just always want to remember that. And then my purpose is obviously, because I have a daughter, is to leave an imprint on her, to show her what it is, to really be a good human and to really care for others. So that's pretty much everything in a bubble.
We've learned so much about you. Yeah.
Yes. And Julia, I'm thinking about the conversation with Rhiannon.
Yes.
If you did nothing else but leave this for your daughter, that would be huge.
True.
And I'm not suggesting that's all you're going to do, but if something were to happen to you, as we discussed yesterday, and you did nothing more, having that would mean the world to her.
Yes. Yeah. I was telling my partner yesterday, the father of my child, we're not married, but, we live together. And I was just telling him, because after the conversations that we had yesterday, I went to him and I said, I didn't really realize, I was trying to understand integrative law, and I was just waiting for something to click with me. And yesterday just really clicked with me. And I went to him and I said, we must never forget to do these things. We mustn't forget, we need to make videos and leave it for her. We need to, write letters. We need to, because you just never know. Obviously, you don't want anything bad to happen, but we need to leave something behind. So it was really, I don't know, it was I had an awakening yesterday.
And I got to say, Rhiannon's, for those of you who weren't there on the death and dying one, I'm not sure that I sent the link to Aubrey to distribute. I'll make sure I do. But, even the idea of helping our clients realize that the idea she said of people writing a letter once a year, that didn't occur to me. There were so many ideas that she had, and the way that talk about if leaving an imprint is an important piece of what you're doing, and
Mm-hmm.
working with people who are thinking about what they're leaving behind. It was really powerful. And had you already started to work on that image
Before.
Yeah.
Yes.
So the way that comes together, talk about the click.
Yeah.
I feel the click in my body for you.
Mm.
It's lovely. Thank you, Julia. Do you have
You're
anything else you
welcome.
want to say about it? Or I assume that you may not be here for the late night. So anything you want to say about wrapping up the series?
Yes, thank you. Yeah,
night.
it's very late in South Africa, for the evening sessions. But yeah, I just really wanted to, thank all of you for this, for hosting this course, and, for really helping, like myself, like a student who's going to be a lawyer soon in a year and a half, really just teach me. Oh, sorry, my dog is crying.
No worries.
Hang on. I'm going to be back. Sorry.
Oh, okay. You need to check on the dog. Sure.
And can I join in the thanks, because I also will not be in the late session, as the time zone is the same as in South Africa. But also for me, it was such an inspiring series of talks. I didn't finish all the recordings yet. I still have one to go, but each and every one is just superb. So thought-provoking and so exhilarating and inspiring to make changes, which I think it's something I didn't expect. I came here for, enriching my knowledge. I never expected the personal impact of this series. So thank you so much. It's hugely significant for me. Thanks.
Thank you.
And Yael, I know that you're active in the dispute resolution section as well. Did you hear Kim? I was there too, but did you hear Kim and me speak last October about, that's when we originally talked about the garden?
No, I think I
Okay.
missed that one. I think I missed the
works in progress. And
I'm
we are
planning to come this
this October, my school is
Yeah.
hosting. But
Exactly.
and there'll be something more on integrative law. We're working on it now. But the idea of, I'm pleasantly surprised, let me put it that way, and relieved that so many of the ADR world, even when they do things different than what I'm doing or Kim's doing, which piece of the ADR world, that we already do perceive ourselves as fellow travelers in transforming the practice of law in our own ways. And that I haven't heard a single bit of resistance to the notion that, ADR is part of the integrative law movement. Whether we identified that way or not, that's the big umbrella. Integrative law is the big umbrella that houses,
it's a perfect fit.
The garden.
It's a perfect fit because I think the values are aligned. Basically,
that's really what it is. Yeah. So thank you for that feedback. For this, but also the bigger picture. And I really look forward to having you as a colleague as we continue to grow this. I'm so pleased to have met you, to all of you. Yael, your engagement in that community is terrific. So Julia, is your puppy okay?
Yes, sorry, she just got stuck somewhere.
No problem. So going back to you.
You can finish.
Yes.
Thank you. I can't really, I just wanted to say again, really thank you. And it's been like a real honor, having met all of you. And this is, I'm very fortunate where Varsity College allows us to take integrative law as a module next year. So I'm glad that I'm almost, like a step ahead, and that I have like this new knowledge and this background going into the module. And I'm very excited. And, hopefully if you guys do host something like this again, I really would love to be a part of it again. So thank you.
We will absolutely make sure we keep you on our distribution list. I don't know exactly how you heard of it in the first place. I think you said one of your professors, right?
Yes, yeah. So through Varsity College,
Right.
I heard
So-
about it.
So they would probably keep you apprised, but I think Aubrey and I, and Kim, of course, but on the Quinnipiac official side, we can commit to figuring out how and where we put your information, and this would be true for all of you, on our database, so that you will also get things from the Quinnipiac Center on Dispute Resolution, which, as you know, hosts the project on integrative law and legal education, so that you might hear 2 or 3 different ways about what we're doing. Because I know we're going to be doing more on this. We haven't planned what we're doing, and we still, we do have the one leader who got ill, and so we're still figuring out exactly when and how. It may just be part of a later series. We're going to figure that out. But it would be an absolute pleasure, Julia. And so I know we have your email address. And if there's any other contact information that you think we should have,
Okay.
you can send it to that email that is Center Diz Res. I didn't name it. I'm sorry. I hate that name, but now it's in there. Center Diz Res at quinnipiac.edu. So
Perfect. I'll do that. Thank you so much.
great.
Thank you. Anthony, tell us about you.
Hi.
What have you created for us?
The touch tone, sorry. Let me try to share. Can I share? Should I share? I don't know.
However you wish.
Just give me a second. I didn't draft an image actually because the last 2 weeks have been crazy, as I told, the end of the semester for the masters. It has been, but I'm glad I made it. Don't know if you guys see. Do you see a Word file
Yes.
with the text? Okay.
Yes.
Thank you.
It
So
starts with
sometimes
my
in Zoom-
touchstone, right?
Because in Zoom, sometimes it is hard, sorry, to know what people are seeing. So I'm constantly asking people, what do you see, and so on. And well, just let me, before I proceed to this, also thank you all. It was amazing. I love it seeing many people from many regions, like Yael from Israel. Let's keep in touch, Yael. So I can go to Israel, can come to Brazil. Let's do this. Kim, you also should schedule a Latin American Congress on integrative law, maybe in Brazil, because...
I don't know who you're connected to. We have a lot of people in Brazil.
Oh, no, it's amazing. I knew about this course through Ana Echalus, which was one of the lecturers. I
Yes.
saw something on her LinkedIn and I just thought I should join this. And I think also Quinnipiac for the scholarship. And you guys definitely should do something in Brazil because, guys, this is crazy. Brazil is the country with more attorneys in the world for many reasons, because there are many law schools and people want to grab money from students, even if the quality of the teaching is poor, which is so sad. And even the Bar Association behaves this way because they're all about collecting the fees. So we have real problems to tackle in here, and attorneys need to be thoroughly and well qualified, and also find new fields of work so they can make ends meet. And also I believe that integrative law is great because it will change the culture, change the minds. So I speak of Brazil. Obviously, there is a bias in here because I'm Brazilian, but because it is the biggest country in the region, and it is somehow easy for people of other countries to come here. We are just side by side with Argentina, Uruguay, Paraguay, and so on. Although
I was in
usually...
Brazil just before the pandemic. Just before.
Oh my God, so you should come back. Although we don't speak Spanish, usually I speak, but it would be great to do something here. And as I'm studying at a top private law school in here, maybe I can do some connections and help you to connect with other universities so we can create something, if it's not for 2023, maybe for 2024, because I believe we need to do this evangelism for good with people. So thank you. I won't be here in the last session, not because of the time schedule, but because I fortunately have a meeting with a good publisher here in Brazil. So I'm going to speak to them to have things published. Thank you for understanding. But it has been a great journey, has touched upon subjects I have never thought would be linked to law, but they are linked to us, and we are people and we do the law. So we should put it all together. And I believe you guys will find similar remarks from every participant. And it is also lovely that this is free for law students. If I knew this before, I would say to all law students in my world, you gotta join, organize yourself, because it's really good. But I'll go to the touchstone because you guys realize that I speak only a little, right? I don't even like to speak. So let me go to the touchstone. Well, what I try to do in here is inspired by the values I profess and sorry, it doesn't sound good in English. By the faith I profess, by my professional practice, by my academic interests, I try to blend it all. There was an example in the touchstone material. I don't remember the name of the lady, but she did something similar. I like the standard, the model, the template, and then I follow this. So firstly, for the vision, I have put this. And I didn't even know everyone was supposed to do. I thought it was only me and the other lady, but now I know, okay, everyone would do. But for the vision, I have put this. I envision a world where justice rolls on like a river and righteousness like a never-failing stream. Such vision includes law at its best version with efficiency, clarity, and accessibility. Attorneys working to aid social justice, peace, and happiness, and a society where people, companies / organizations, and the public sector work for each other. Law is no longer a pain in the arse, but a widely acclaimed and high-value tool of transformation for good. So explaining this a bit, and I think, Kim, it would be good if I went through it all, so then, I don't know, people ask questions to be time savvy. Okay. But speaking of this, firstly, this justice rolls on like a river and righteousness like a never-failing stream. I believe it is displayed on both Torah and the Bible, and I believe the Quran has a similar remark, like we should live in a society where justice is the standard. And in my case, I inspired myself in this Bible verse that I know for sure is in the Torah too. I mentioned the Quran because I believe that as all of them are monotheistic religions, there should be something similar there too. But law at its best version for me has to do with legal design, because it is a methodology I research and cherish. And for me, legal design is law at its best version. So this is what I wanted to convey here. And efficiency, clarity, and accessibility are things I think law misses. And social justice, peace, and happiness is also another reference to a verse, because there is a verse that says that the kingdom of God is peace, joy, and justice. But for me, it is not enough. It should be social justice, because it should be a table where everyone is invited. And I know that most faith-professing people are excluded, but this is not my vision of what faith or religion should be. My vision is that it should be radically inclusive, like everyone is welcome at this table, because we are like a global community and so on. And I believe maybe EAL has a more, I don't know, EAL, daily experience with this, because we live in a region with many different people, like Arab people, Jewish, many religions. I learned that recently there are Arab Jews and Muslim Jews too. Like, it is not only about the ethnicity, but also the faith and the region. And you have Jew people coming from Europe and Jew people born in Israel. So it's, I believe you get a sense. Here in Brazil, we have this process where a majority, I don't know if this sounds good in English, sorry. The majority of people here declares themselves as Christian, but we have a great Jewish community as well, and we have a growing Islamic community and other faiths as well. And because of what is going on in the world, like in Venezuela, in Syria, in Ukraine, and also in Afghanistan, we are receiving a constant flow of immigrants. So one of the things I thought in here is how I can give my 2 cents so that the legal system and everything that is connected to law will be not only welcoming, but efficient to people from all backgrounds. Because I can't think of myself, this shouldn't be a Narcissus experience of, okay, I need a legal system that reflects my needs. But I have other people coming here with other values. I don't know, sorry, like a Venezuela person, we have a like-minded worldview, probably because we are neighbor countries. But how is someone from Afghanistan who doesn't speak Portuguese, who belongs to a different religion, who has a different way of living, will experience the Brazilian legal system? Or how this relates to someone from Syria fleeing from war, Afghanistan from Taliban, or Venezuela from the dictatorship or something? And I don't want to be political in here. I'm just venting about why I have put this vision together. I really hope it makes sense. Going to the mission, what I have put in here is bringing justice to situations through diligence and responsible actions, applying in an innovative and consistent manner the knowledge gained over the years, and building a future of excellence in which solutions equal and transform people's reality. So the vision is how society should be better and law should be better. I think I could put here, instead of attorneys, legal professionals, but it is an ever-changing thing. And the mission is, how can I bring justice? And how can I help people to attain social justice, peace and happiness, and so on? Because law, I don't know in your countries, I believe the US are similar. But what happens in here is that most legal professionals, even in academia, they're worried about how making their reputation sound good, how grabbing most money as possible, and how making things good for them and not really for society. So sometimes there is a disconnection. For me, this is not what law should be. Speaking of the principles and values, I love the template, Kim, that was in here from this lady. I don't remember her name. So I used this introduction that says something like, in service of my vision and mission, I choose to practice law.
Linda Alvarez.
Sorry?
Linda Alvarez.
Linda Alvarez.
Also now called Alala Linda.
I loved it. Oh my God, it is a trigger because I remember the movie La La Land and I cried over the end of that movie. It was so sad because I wanted the good guys to be together, and I was like, ooh. Like I left the cinema room like as if someone in my family died. It was terrible. You don't want to see me crying. But let's come back to this. And I choose to practice law, research, write, teach, give speeches, like many things I know and additional things that will come in the future, and influence whenever and wherever possible, overall in accordance with the following principles. Firstly, law is not to be endured, it is to be enjoyed. And this is something we can achieve together. I want this reality to come. I don't want people to come to me in the future or to any attorney saying, oh my God, I need to see an attorney because things went bad. And this will be a bad process. This will be expensive. They will try to deceive me, and this will be painful. Secondly, people and their needs must be the center of each decision. And this is another thing. People and their needs, not, I don't know, making money, not the big companies' interests, not, I don't know, not the hidden agendas, but just plainly people and their needs. Thirdly, law is not the answer for all, and interdisciplinary is key. Once I said this to a bunch of professors and I was almost stoned live. Do you know in the ancient times when people were stoned as essential for doing harm, people looking at me like, how do you dare saying that law is not the full answer? But no, it is not the answer, and interdisciplinary is key. Fourth, collaboration builds better solutions. And I believe this needs to be like repeated over and over, especially to legal professionals, because sometimes people want to do it individually and we need to collaborate. And also this one, I don't know if it will make sense, but I wanted to do something and break it in 3 things. Like, I want to be a bridge. Somehow, be a bridge between realities, cultures, people, needs, organizations, sectors, and so on. So firstly, prevent if possible. And here I make reference to conflicts and so on. Secondly, manage all situations. So whatever happens, I should be able to not to have an answer on that, but being able to help to manage the situation for good. And thirdly, litigate with fairness, because I can't be in generals and think that there will be no litigation. But if I need to litigate, it should be done with fairness. And the values I cherish coming to an end, so I would love to listen to your feedback. This is based upon the Clifton Strengths Gallup test. The first is inputs. I'm inquisitive and a person with multiple interests, generating a good accumulation of information, ideas, artifacts, and relationships. So as I love to know more and to know about different realities, it leads to an accumulation that I need to be smart of not letting go to the bad side of accumulating, but instead making this a living, ever-changing flow. So it is useful for me and others, and it is timely as well. A futuristic, I'm inspired by the future and what the future could be. And so I energize others with my visions of the future. In some conversations, I'm frequently the person who, I had this experience, like real life case. I'm a master's candidate at a university here in Brazil, and I was speaking to a bunch of law professors and saying, no, we can't do this, we should do this. And they're like, oh, Anthony, we're so anxious. Like, you know, the institution doesn't work like this. We need many approvals and so on. I said, sweetheart, there will always be more vision than resources. I have my eyes in the future and I'll work accordingly to this. Like, you think I'm too fast, brace yourself, because I'm only getting faster, because I'm inspired by the future. And this course is an example. I'm always looking for something new that is happening, for the trends, not because I want people to see me as trendy, but because I want to be timely with what is happening, so I can remain relevant. I don't want to be stuck in time, like an attorney that is stuck in 2023. And when it is 2063, I want to be in pace with what is happening. Learner, I have a great desire to learn, for I want to continuously improve. And the process of learning itself excites me. I don't know if it sounds shocking, but for me, it's true. I love learning new things whenever I relate to the subjects. Like if you say to him, oh no, I'm putting a gastronomy in law course, I'm not subscribing myself. I have no interest in gastronomy. But regarding the subjects I'm interested in, I love learning new things and helping people to learn. The fourth, achiever. I work hard and possess a great deal of stamina. I take immense satisfaction in being busy and productive. And this is also true. Just to highlight, those phrases are not mine. They are from Clifton Strengths, and I adapted them to my reality. So I love to work hard. People think sometimes I'm crazy. Like, why are you attending this course and writing articles and doing this? How do you have the same 24 hours like me? Sometimes it gets crazy, but I think it's a way to advance. And speaking as someone who is a young guy, who is from Brazil and so on, from the global south, unfortunately or fortunately, I have to do this because I need to walk 3 times faster and 3 times further to have a chance. It is really different. Like, I don't want to sound offensive, but many of you are in the US. It is a totally different reality, because when you live in the US, you have access to everything. You speak English as your native language. You have everything at your hands. I come from Brazil, so I chose to study English, Spanish. I'm studying French because I want to have access to more, and I need to work, so I can be minimally similar to what is happening abroad. So I can be at a minimal condition of competing. And this is really crazy. It shouldn't be like this. We shouldn't need to strive and ask for equality because it should be given. But just venting again, I had experience of speaking to people from Ivy League universities in the US, and they don't give a crap. I needed to repeatedly send emails so they could, oh, okay, I'll read this email of this Brazilian guy and check what he's up to. And sometimes it makes me want to say to them, so if you are in this position and are not answering emails or helping people, like give up. Give your position to other people because we're at an international university to help people. Like, I'm not blaming the US educational system. I have many friends there. You are now my friends, you guys in the US, but just explaining why I have put this here and explaining a bit of the difficulties we have as part of the world under development, if I can still use this term. And speaking of consistency, I'm keenly aware of the need to treat people the same. I crave stable routines and clear rules and procedures that everyone can follow. And this to me has a connection with law because I need to make things clear and consistent so everyone can understand. Like, it is really hard to navigate the legal system and even the non-judicial disputes resolution, because it is still heavily influenced by law. So as an attorney, and I believe most of you here are legal professionals, we know how it works, so it is easier to us. But in any case, even we have some difficulties. So if we that are trained in law have difficulties, what about the regular people? Not saying we are crazy, right? The regular people who has no formal legal education. But what about them? How do they feel when they react to law? So, well, this was a touchstone. Sorry if I spoke for a long time. I just was trying to make sense. And I would love to hear some feedback, criticism, atonements, anything you want to share. Thank you.
Well,
And
one
now
thing
we
I
know
would say,
Anthony.
we sure do. Anthony, what I see, the last one, I'll just use as an example, is that you were already beginning to do your operational manual of me too, in a way. So one thing you might want to think about, that's a value. It's also the way you worded it. It's about, if I were going to do a project with you, I would need to know that last thing about you. So I don't know, Kim, if you think that there are some things that, if you're going to do the whole process, whether you're doing it with a client or whatever, you might separate a few things out. And at the same time, knowing that about you also, I think, does belong in the touchstone to some degree, but it may be repeated. If you were going to do the operating manual of me, you may choose just to do a touchstone and not, in which case I would leave things here. But I was listening to you, particularly when that, I was listening to you the whole time, but particularly with that last one, I was going, oh, so if I were working with Anthony on a project, I would definitely need to know about your routines, clear rules. I mean, there's also the whole, plain language, being really clear, accessibility, that comes through loud and clear. But this, yeah, we sure do know you better, my friend. This is nice work.
The other thing, you use a lot of language that evokes images. And so your next step may be to incorporate some of those images. And one of the games I play is, where can I use images to replace language by getting the feel of the sort of, when Julia was showing the hands holding, that picture actually holds a lot of information that then doesn't need to be put in words. And so for me, the challenge is put it all in one image so that I can put it as a poster. So just a challenge for the next level.
Yeah, because you're right, Kim. There's bridges and rivers, and pictures are forming in my head as I was listening to you. And so I think that would be a real great next step. Because they're very powerful images. Very powerful. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for the remarks. I'll take them into account to make it more visual. I would love to have already images, but for time constraints, I could.
Oh,
but
no,
I think,
don't worry about it.
I believe I don't know if it sounds good, but it could be something like an image that summarizes it all and that has all these elements blended. So if people saw this image, they could realize. It is crazy. Maybe we're becoming artists as well. I need to learn painting, maybe.
Did I show the one with the tree to you? Where she just painted a tree? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Is this David?
Yeah.
Do you have one to share, or are you just coming to be the one people are telling to? Or maybe David doesn't have a good mic. We've had some issues with. Well, I want to. I did not create this for here, but I'll share the one I created this a few months ago, and that sort of is the combination. This is the one-stop vision, mission, values, purpose, and then sort of my operating manual as well. All on one. And I will tell you that I used Canva, and the B I had to add, but in Spain in particular, and some other places, they call me the bee because I carry the pollen around. And,
I was going to say, yeah, cross-pollination. Yeah, yeah.
So this is it already needs to be edited. I did it in November. The way I say things and sort of back to Yale's point, as different projects show up in my life, it calls me to be somebody that maybe I didn't think about when I wrote it the first time. The other thing I notice is that people, health is not a value until you're a certain age. Because you take it for granted. So there are changes in our values and how we express them over time. So I'm going to show you another one that I had permission to share, just to show one with few words and a lot of image. It's like bullet points. It's a nebula, I think it's the background picture. Someone in a recent course. So for those,
that's cool. That was very powerful.
In the Conscious Contracts program, we each create a touchstone, and we learn how to help other people create their own touchstones. And we do our operating manual, and we actually bring those together and look to see where we might have friction with each other and design a bespoke conflict resolution system that goes into the contract. That's based on, I like consistency, and I actually like novelty. You know, like how do we reconcile that? And so part of what we do is we design that system And then we put all of that into the contract, and then that helps shape the content of what we call the action plan. So those are how elements are put together into one piece of the movement. Anyone else? Aubrey hasn't been feeling well, and so she's been off camera. She said she would share if we wanted her to, but I don't know if you're hankering to do that, Aubrey, or happy not to.
I don't know that I'm hankering to do it, but if you want another example, I'm fine to share. I think we've had a lot of really good examples today. It's kind of fun to see a different mix here today.
Sure, let's see a different mix.
All right, hold on one second. I've got a lot of screens open.
Okay. And we're going to get Carrie to do hers.
Yeah, I had intended to use this 2 weeks to do it, but I knew I couldn't put the kind of thought into it with all my other tasks. So I am going to do one.
Oh, here's the operating manual. Yay.
Okay, so yeah, I'm more proud of my operating manual than my touchstone, although my touchstone is in this, so I will show you briefly. But my disclaimer, since I created this, like 9 months ago, I would make a lot of changes already. I've learned so much about all of this in the last semester and during this summer institute. And so there's already so much more I would do differently, but I have not made it a priority to modify this. So my disclaimer is this does not currently reflect me as a person. But that's me. I added a quote: when we strive to become better than we are, everything around us becomes better too. Here is a picture of my touchstone. I definitely would, I think the values do still reflect things that are highly important to me, but I was really struck by the comment about there's so many values I feel like I should have on here, but the ones that truly represent me, it was an internal battle for myself as well. So I totally, that resonated with me, yeah. Okay, so how I work. I took a bunch of personality type quizzes and found that I'm an EFOJ or EFSJ, excuse me. Most of that was not surprising. I get stressed often, and so these are some of my tells. Physically, I twirl my hair, slouch, and audibly change my breathing. It sounds like a gasp. You may have seen me do some of those things on these videos. I also speak more quickly and louder when I'm unsure of my words, because I think I want to exude confidence, especially when I'm not feeling confident. This was based off of another personality quiz that I took, and I liked the visual of the road because I feel like it's not all circular. You kind of hit different pieces of yourself at different times. So I liked this curvy road because I felt like that was that displayed kind of how you change and progress in our different people at different times. So this was actually my favorite quiz that I took, and I really felt like that one got to the root of me. So basically, I'm a timekeeper. I love having deadlines and clear expectations, and I love being able to show that I am not a procrastinator and can get done what I need to. I love to take responsibility. I love to take charge. I love seeing end results. Storyteller. I'm very much a storyteller. I have been my whole life. I love to just sit down and tell you, things that have happened to me or things as I saw them, and I still do that. I mean, that's probably a daily thing with me. I am an empathizer. I learned a lot about that in this course too. I feel like, honestly, this is maybe way too personal, but I I find myself not drawn to specific party lines and things like that because I can always empathize with the other side and understand where they're coming from. And so I think my dad sees that as a character flaw, but I myself like to see where other people are coming from. And I feel like it makes me, I don't know, just more understanding and respectful towards others and their differing opinions. And I'm a philomath. I love learning new things and pushing myself beyond my comfort zone and committing myself to new topics. Because of that, though, I am an expert in none and a novice in many. Another personality test, I am a romantic individualist, loyal guardian, and reforming moralist. I have to keep moving faces around, so sorry if you guys can see my mouse moving everywhere. Okay, so I love working on group tasks with others. I also like working alone. But when I work on group tasks, I have to make sure that there are ground rules. I'm not just going to work well with somebody that is all willy-nilly, go with the flow kind of person. I very much have to have clear expectations. We have to have a plan. We have to know our deadline. We have to know who's going to do what portion of it. I love when there's diverse experiences so that we can collaborate and I can get that empathic view of, well, this is how I think it should be done. I love seeing that so that I can open my mind to new ways of doing things. So that would be my open-mindedness and open communication. And then with all of those things, we can get our project done. Oh, did you want me to go over the well-being plan? That's not really operating manual, right, Kim?
Yeah, we haven't done that, but you can show it.
Okay, so part of the course was discovering a well-being plan because well-being is a huge part of making yourself successful in every aspect of your life. Plus, where there's so much harm, I guess, in the legal community, the legal community as a whole does not stress the importance of well-being and being happy outside your career. And so I love that we focused on this in the class. And so we came up with a well-being plan. And these are things that I feel help reduce my stress and make me enjoy my quality of life more. Walks in nature. I had a goal to do that weekly. I actually do that several times a week these days. Quality time with my family. I am very much making that a priority still. Meditation, I've got this place in my backyard I call Meditation Rock. I love to go take walks into nature to my rock, and then I sit on my rock and I breathe. So simple, but so impactful. Positivity, I am, that's still a work in progress, but I am noticing, I even noticed I had kind of a complication today that I had to answer a call while we were in this session that kind of threw me for a loop. But normally I will go down like a what if shame spiral. And this time I stopped myself early and told myself, you know what, it doesn't matter. I'm going to survive this and we are going to take it just 1 minute at a time. So I am noticing, it kind of struck me as that happened, how quickly my mindset shifted since I've been actually making this a focus in my life. And it was so natural. It almost, it was kind of shocking how quickly it came to me today when that's not normally the case. Prioritize, big picture outlook. This is something I'm always striving for. This is why I'm in law school now in my 30s, trying to figure out, long time goals and how do I get there. And then my stress mantra, whenever I feel kind of that sense of overwhelm, I learned in this course to name 5 things you can see, 4 things you can hear, 3 things you can feel, 2 things you can taste, and 1 thing you can, touch. And that I found kind of really resets my brain and gets me out of my funk. And that's me.
Thank you. I'd love to have this to put in our library of examples, Aubrey, if you're willing.
Okay,
That's
I
beautiful.
think you probably have it. Do you want me to? I can resend it though if you need.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's probably still on Blackboard or something in our course materials. But for those of you who are older and went to law school a long time ago, can you imagine what your life would be different if you were consciously having these conversations, thoughts, creating this self-awareness and a way to express with people with whom you're going to work? I just think about all the things that would have been different all along. And yet here I am on this path now. I really don't have regrets per se. It's just, wow, I try and focus. Who was it yesterday? I was saying or one of these classes, we don't go backwards, we go forwards, but they were using a different term. We don't fall back, we fall. No, it wasn't. Aubrey, do you remember who was using that term?
I don't remember for sure.
But it was an interesting use of words to really punctuate the idea that we're moving forward to the future. So I will celebrate that we're doing it now, but a little bit of wistfulness.
We don't get there until we get there.
Aubrey, that was lovely work. I've seen some of that before, but I don't think I've seen it all put together and heard you talk about it the same way. But I just think of all of the things we're doing together, like any of us, and thinking, wouldn't that be cool to start some endeavor actually having something like that?
And that's what I'm doing in my law practice.
Right. I can imagine if I were starting up a law practice, I couldn't imagine doing it without doing this deep work.
The clients. So my current project is to work with the textile companies at different, from the growers, the shirt to the dirt, or the dirt to the shirt is what we talk about. And we're putting together all of this of how we're all going to be focused on sustainability and sharing these. And so it makes a huge difference in the finished product, I think. And, we're looking forward to being able to, like the way I talk about it, this is not yet our slogan, but the most sustainable fabric in the world. Anyway, well, it's time to wrap up. I would love to hear any closing words for those of you who aren't coming this afternoon. If there's anything left to say, and just thank you all. You've been a delight to have in the courses, and the globalness of this has been particularly gratifying for me. I majored in international studies, and it was not an accident that I spent 15 years traveling from country to country. So I really appreciate you all.